Okay, in this lesson, we're going to be going over some word problems using sequences and series. Just a few tips for you. When approaching a word problem, first you should identify whether the scenario describes an arithmetic or geometric sequence or series. If there's any mention of a sum or a total, then probably the question is about a series. If there's any mention of a ratio or something like percentage of, then likely the question is about a geometric sequence or series. Just a couple of tips. Next, you should identify what quantities you're given and what you need to determine, and then write the appropriate formula and substitute all the values you already know to solve for the unknown variable value. So let's go over this first example. Wendy walks 2 kilometers on Monday. She walks an additional half a kilometer every day for 2 weeks. So this doesn't mean that on Monday she walks 2 kilometers and on Tuesday she only walks half a kilometer. Okay, this means that on Monday 2 kilometers, Tuesday 2.5, Wednesday 3 kilometers, etc. So using the word additional as your hint, you should realize that this is an arithmetic sequence. We need to determine how far Wendy walks on the last day. So this is on the 14th day. Tn equals a plus n minus 1 d. We know that she walks 2 kilometers on Monday, so that's our a value. We know that she walks an additional half a kilometer every day, so d is 0.5. And n, well, we want to know the 14th day, so n is equal to 14. Plug everything in and solve for Tn. So as you can see, I've substituted all of my values in, and 2 plus 13 times 0.5, that gives us 8.5 kilometers on the 14th day. I'm going to write my therefore statement. Okay, so that was pretty good. For part B, determine how far Wendy walks in total over the 2 weeks. So one of the hints that I gave you, if you see the word total, probably talking about a series, and we already know from part A that this was arithmetic. So we know that we are dealing with an arithmetic series in part B. Now, you know what the 14th term is. This is T14. So if you know A is equal to 2, T14 is equal to 8.5, and obviously there are 14 terms in this sequence, then you can just use your Sn equals n times A plus T sub n over 2 formula, plug everything in, and solve for S14. So go ahead. Okay, simplify everything, and you should get 73.5 as S14. So therefore, Wendy has walked 73.5 kilometers in total. And that's it for this example. So move on to the next video for example 2. Okay, we're at the bottom of lesson 7.3 with example 2. So Peter drops a ball from the top of a 50-foot tall building. It bounces back up to 80% of its previous height with every bounce. Approximately what total distance has the ball traveled after 5 bounces? So first thing, I see here back up to 80% of. If you read the one of the tips under number 1, it says if it's you see percentage of in the question, then it's probably a geometric sequence or series. And also, I see the word total. So that tells me that we are dealing with a geometric series problem this time. All right, I'm going to draw a little diagram, so if you want to pause the video right now to draw your own diagram and then come back and see how I did it. So here's my little diagram. The first bounce, 50 feet drop, and then second bounce, third bounce, fourth bounce, fifth bounce. Now, we need to calculate the total distance. If you notice here, you can assume that this bounce up is the same as this bounce down. So I'm just going to highlight in, or go over in green, what I'm going to calculate first. So there's the geometric sequence, starting with 50 and then 80% less or sorry, 20% less or 80% remaining every time. I'm going to calculate the sum of these 5 first, and then I'm just going to subtract 50 afterwards and double the remaining just to account for the up bounce. And then I'm going to add everything together. So I know that A is equal to 50. I know R is equal to 0.8. That's the ratio. And N is equal to 5 bounces. The sum of the geometric series formula, A bracket R to the exponent N minus 1 over R minus 1. Let's substitute everything in. 50 bracket 0.8 to the power of 5 minus 1 over 0.8 minus 1. So go ahead and calculate. And I believe you should get 168.08 feet. So this is only for what I've highlighted in green in my diagram here. Alright, I'm going to subtract 168.08 feet minus 50. So I get 118.08 feet. So this is the up bounce total distance traveled. I'm going to highlight that in pink. My pink pen is working. Okay, and now I'm just going to add those two numbers together. So total distance is equal to 168.08 plus 118.08, which equals 286.16 feet traveled. If you wanted to, you could have just taken this number, multiplied that by 2, and then subtracted 50. You would have gotten the same result. Alrighty, so for tomorrow's class, we're going to be just practicing more application problems. If you have some time tonight, get a head start on the homework. Alright, see you tomorrow.